Tyrmand, you called this for months and months and months that Lula was not just a transnational criminal, but the people around him in the judiciary. This is, and I know you're of Polish descent, so it affects you viscerally. This is Joseph Stalin. This is the way the Stalinists ran. I mean, these guys are smash mouth, hardball. Sir, what is going on?
Yeah, no good news. Sometimes you hate being right, and this is one of those situations. You and I were talking about Brazil for months. The most important electoral battle in 2022 against global communism, and it looks like global communism just picked up a big one, and they are not wasting any time, as they do not, to consolidate it and clamp down and really turn Brazil into Venezuela. As I said on one segment, they've gone from zero to Stalin in no time. It is, even with my cynicism, and you know how cynical I am shocked. We talked about what happened on Sunday the 8th, a template learned from January 6th. Coax them in, and then show that your agent provocateurs are destroying everything, and then arrest all the patriots and send a message to the rest of the country. And that is what they're doing. They created a gulag we talked about earlier this week. Well, the gulag that they created in the federal police district training facility, where they rounded up 1,700 people, old women, old men, young kids, male, female, every race, every color of the Brazilian racial ethnographic spectrum, Brazilian patriots through and through. We have video of them now that the fog of war is over, because the Brazilians are so good with social media and using the technology at their fingertips. We have video of them getting into arguments with the agent provocateurs. Don't ruin this. Don't break this. Don't break this window. This is our house. They were trying to show peacefully, as they had done 72 days previous, because these are peaceful, prayerful, patriotic warriors. They were trying to show a show of strength that they have a cross-section of society. And what did they do? They got cornered. They got gulags. We had at least one woman die from dehydration. Unconfirmed, but some of the patriots on the ground say 4 to 5 people have died in this process. They had then taken some of the older people, some of the kids, and they have released them, but not before a full Stalinist denunciation of themselves and their own activity. Sign on the dotted line. What am I signing? It says, I am a terrorist. I went to war against the democratic institutions of my country. And they released people pending that, no legal counsel. The men and younger and more able-bodied females have gone into a federal penitentiary. No charges, no due process, no investigation, no trial. And they are now in jail. And Gateway Pundit had a great open letter from a source on the ground describing the conditions. Absolutely inhumane. They have not spoken to lawyers. So we're seeing, a January 6th framework. And now we were talking about this offline. What did the Soviets call everybody who stood in the way of their ideological capture of society? Subversives. They're calling them, the Brazilian left, the judiciary is calling them terrorists, which gives that even more, a big leap veil of, oh no, we're protecting democracy from the terrorists who are patriots. And to see them trapped like sardines in these small facilities, wrapped, literally cloaked in the Brazilian flag to keep warm at night, kids lying on the Brazilian flag as a mat. I mean, talk about a powerful poetic optic and symbol, but the judiciary is clamping down. They have gone absolutely hog wild on the censorship. Journalists kicked off. They kicked off Jovem Pan News. It cannot broadcast. That's Brazil's equivalent of Fox News. Our friend Paulo Figueiredo has been deplatformed. All of the right-wing journalists have been deplatformed. The extradition notices are being drawn up for the journalists and pastors and activists who are here in the U.S., who have residents, who, if they're not citizens, but they're just they're residents, they're going to be attempted to be extradited. Several they're putting out red notices for. They're reiterating the call for Alan dos Santos and some of the really leading journalists. Alan dos Santos has been pursued by them now for years, and he's been in the U.S., and they're going to try and extradite him. Bolsonaro, it just showed, they said today, Wall Street Journal picked it up, that they are now pinning it on him by sowing distrust in the election system by, for instance, pushing for paper and auditable ballots. How novel, something you can audit. He has stimulated and catalyzed this. So now they're going to try and force him back to Brazil, as you and I talked about. We predicted it, right? Everybody did not prevail. Everybody was going to jail. They used a Hitler Reichstag fire. This is what Hitler did in the 30s to cement power, because moments after the arson from the Reichstag, he took much greater power. Well, this is coming out of the judiciary. And I'll make a point right here. Lula is a queen of England. He is a figurehead. Lula is not the dictator of Brazil. It is Marias. It is the guy who's been cementing power, who appointed himself from Chief Justice of the Supreme Court to Chief Justice of the Electoral Court to oversee and administer the elections, who used that court to say to anybody that was suggesting that the election might have some anomalies or not be totally above board, that he would then use that as an arrest warrant, the pretext to silence them and shut them up, to put them in ankle bracelets. Well, ankle bracelets are going to look downright luxurious compared to what's coming. They are going full gulag. They're putting them in jail, and it is absolutely gross. Even Glenn Greenwald, who helped build this, by the way, he was the one cheerleading from the Western English language press that Bolsonaro is horrible, blah blah blah, and cheerleading the fight back for Lula and the globalists. And now he's giving a press conference on Rumble at 7 o'clock to say that the censorship has gone too far because now they're trying to censor him. So you know what? It's the Niemöller poem playing out in front of us. First they came for the socialists, then they came for the trade unions, then they came for the Jews, and then they came for me. And they are clamping down. And Marias, he should be in The Hague. And I don't know when he's going to get there, but it's not soon enough because people are dying. They're dying in that makeshift gulag. They're dying in the prisons. Oh, and the most important thing you and I talked about this morning, forced vaxxed everybody they put into this federal penitentiary. If this is not a violation of the Geneva Convention is worthless. Where is Human Rights Watch? Where is Amnesty International? Where is the United Nations Charter for Indigenous Rights, given that chief of the Javansi tribe, Cesare, is still in prison because he is a brave soul with faith, and he is not signing the denunciation letter that they've been torturing him to try and get him to sign. This is the worst communist takeover ever. People forget Chavez was elected, not stolen. He was freely elected. Maybe it wasn't until later he created those machines and held the referendum in 2002 to cement power and dissolve all the separated. This is 1 week.
James Zirkle up on Warham has got an article about the vaccinations. This forced vaxxed of the prisoners, of the people they put in the concentration camps, is a massive human rights violation. They're going to be I promise you, we're going to make sure they're held accountable. Matthew, we got to bounce. Social media. Are you going to be live streaming the Greenwald thing at 7 o'clock?
I'm going to just watch it and see what I have to say and let it digest it before I
think we'll
judgment. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
I want everybody to go up on my. I want everybody to go up on our Getter site. We're going to put up what is your social media?
At Matthew Tyrmand, MATTHEW, TYRMAND. I am trying to, as best as I can, be a voice for these people, as I know you are, as Tucker has been, as Emerald has been, Dave Rubin. We did a very long podcast delving into it that air Monday. We're doing what we can, but it is really bad, and we'll talk tomorrow or Monday about the China implications, because Maduro is very happy.
No, we'll have